In the last episode of The Search for Perch on the Norfolk Broads, I moved from the River Bure to the River Ant and headed out to Irstead Staith, a quiet bit of water nestled in the sticks of Norfolk. The surface weed and debris made fishing the bridge difficult, but there were other places to fish, so all was not lost. Despite my best efforts, the second session ended like the first. If you're interested, be sure to check out the entire playlist. Now it's on to the third instalment of The Search for Perch on the Norfolk Broads. The next destination for trying to catch a Norfolk Broads perch or two was Irstead Staith, which, just like Irstead Staith fished in episode 2, is on the River Ant, which is one of the smaller rivers in the Norfolk Broads network. Where Irstead Staith is quiet on the motorboat front, Irstead Staith most definitely is not. Since it was the last weekend of the high season, I made the conscious effort to select one of the quieter locations and, naively as it turned out, chose Irstead Staith. It wasn't until I spoke to a local boat owner that turned up to occupy the last mooring space, and the one I was fishing, that I learned that Irstead is on the highway to Barton Broad, which is one of the most popular broads on the entire river system. Yep, I managed to effectively choose a main road for motorboats. I have to admit that I was surprised by this, as getting to Irstead Staith in the car, like I did, involved driving at super slow speeds down what I can only describe as single track lanes. I wouldn't even consider the last 3 miles to Irstead Staith to be a road. Oh well. Irstead Staith is very beautiful, and when there is a break in the boat traffic, quiet too. The Staith is small, but it is big enough for a handful of bank anglers when empty. Given the popularity of Irstead Staith, it is seldom empty for long this time of year, so fishing space is a little on the tight side. I managed to get a reasonable amount of water to fish at Irstead Staith, but given there is no access to any other walkway along the river, once I had explored the area of water in front of me, that was it, and there was nowhere else to go. Had I been bait fishing and set myself up for the day waiting for the fish to come to me, this wouldn't be much of a problem. Unfortunately, I was drop shot fishing, which meant I was going to find the fish, so this single swim was a bit of an issue. I decided to use the same rig, which is the basic drop shot rig, and also the same lures, which comprise rubber worms, artificial grubs, small minnows and shads. Given I only had one bit of water to fish, I decided I would take my time and thoroughly explore it. I cast to the key heading, I cast to the moored boats, I dropped the lure at my feet, I cast the lure mid-water, I cast the lure as close to the far bank as I could. I tried absolutely everywhere. With regards to retrieving the lures, I tried the sink and draw, I tried a constant slow retrieve, I tried a fast constant retrieve, I tried varied rate retrieves, i.e. the fast slow, fast type. I tried absolutely everything. I tried every cast and retrieve combination I could think of, and I tried it with every type of lure I had, but I couldn't tempt a bite, and everything I tried failed to hook me a fish. It was actually quite demoralising. There were a few other anglers fishing around me, all of whom were bait fishing, and I didn't see any one of them net a fish. Whenever I looked at any other angler, they sat with their stare fixed on their float waiting for a bite. I got talking to the owner of a boat that took the mooring space I was in, and he disclosed the fishing was hard going on the Broads at the moment, and that it had been all summer. Large fish were scarce, and even the tiddlers, which were almost a guaranteed catch, were difficult to get on the hook. Whilst the roach were being difficult to come by, the bream weren't making an appearance, the pike were holed up somewhere, and the perch were non-existent. I was told the only fish that had been coming out of the Norfolk Broads over the summer months were the silver bream, i.e. skimmers, and these were coming out at night. The uber dry conditions and heat wave seems to have certainly taken its toll on the Norfolk Broads, and the fishing appears to have suffered as a result. I don't know if the fact I am lure fishing using the drop shot method is another reason I am failing to catch. I have, as you'd expect, done a lot of reading and research on drop shot fishing, and it seems to be an autumn and winter method. I spent loads of time, and a lot more time than I wanted to, searching the internet and forums for summer lure fishing for perch, and have drawn a blank. Lure fishing for perch in the summer months doesn't seem to be the done thing, at least not from my research. I was hoping it would be third time lucky at Irstead Staith, and that I would net at least one perch, but this didn't happen. One aspect of drop shot fishing I like is simply being out in the countryside, standing on the riverbank, soaking up the surroundings, but this was not the case with Irstead Staith, and other than driving away from the place, I didn't enjoy any of my perch fishing session there. Irstead Staith was just too busy for me. The boats moored along the bank reduced the amount of water available to fish, and having to share the bank not occupied by the boats with other anglers didn't help matters. The volume of boat traffic was very heavy, which meant having to keep reeling in so not to catch them. There was one other thing that vexed me, and that was the fact I was being watched during my entire session. I don't like an audience, and it really does bother me. Despite the problems I encountered with Irstead Staith, I am going to have another go at perch fishing it because I think it has real potential. I'm not going to bother fishing it anytime soon though, and I will wait until the winter really kicks in, when hopefully the Staithe will be empty.